Ghislaine spoke with investigators from the Department of Justice, including Department Attorney General Todd Blanche, over 2 days. According to Maxwell's attorney, David Marcus, Maxwell named at least 100 different suspects who may have been implicated in Epstein's crimes. Here's the attorney speaking outside of the courthouse on Monday.
I think Ghislaine did a wonderful job. She literally answered every question. She didn't say, you know what, don't ask me that. I'm not going to talk about this person. She was asked maybe about 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody, and she didn't hold anything back.
Maxwell has offered to testify before the House Oversight Committee, but only if granted immunity from further criminal prosecution and presidential clemency. However, the Oversight Committee rejected her immunity request late yesterday afternoon, stating it will not consider granting formal immunity as a condition for Ghislaine's testimony. Here's Marcus talking about being in contact with the Trump administration regarding a possible pardon for Maxwell.
We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And you know, listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
To you guys watching at home, do you think Ghislaine Maxwell should be given a pardon? Do you advocate for a pardon in return for her testimony that could possibly implicate other powerful elites who may have been involved in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking scandals? Viva.
I've been covering this for a while, since 2019 when Epstein allegedly killed himself. A pardon for or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell is presumptively wrong. Like she's a convicted sex trafficker and she's not innocent. It's not like she got railroaded by the system. That being said, if it does lead to implications, convictions of the network that we believe exists, you could make the argument, though presumptively wrong, it's going to be net positive in terms of being able to go after other people. But can you appreciate one thing? That nobody from the DOJ, either under Biden until now, sat down with Maxwell to hear what she has to say. Now, admittedly, they were prosecuting her, but I've been saying from the beginning, James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey's prosecution of Ghislaine Maxwell was the cover-up. To convict her on sex trafficking, to nobody except for Jeffrey, don't inquire about the names of other people, unindicted co-conspirators, known and unknown. And now, for the first time ever, someone sits down and say, who the hell were you trafficking for? Maureen Comey was covering this up from the beginning, and that was the scandal.
I posted this on X on the day that Ghislaine spoke with the Department of Justice. So these numbers are a little inaccurate now, outdated. But the tweet, if you're on Twitter, follow me, please. I'm paying for the $40 a month subscription to try and make some cash. Rob Show TV, ROBBSHOW TV on X. Ghislaine Maxwell has been in custody since July 2nd of 2020. Why did it take the Department of Justice 1,849 days to speak with her? It's a very valid question. This woman, it's not like we haven't been able to find her. We've had her in our custody for 5 years. Why does it take now for somebody to go and speak to her? Brandon Humberto, do you guys advocate or do you guys support? Oh, look at that. That's me right there. You can follow me on 22. The internet.
Look at that profile picture.
Yeah, that's right. That was, that was taken by
George Orwell was right.
Yeah, he was right.
Yep.
Do you guys favor a pardon for Ghislaine in exchange for her testimony? And if so, because you brought up a great point, if it brings convictions, we don't know if it'll bring convictions. So are you willing to take that risk that, hey, we pardon her in exchange for her testimony in hopes that we may get convictions, of which we have not yet seen when it comes to Russiagate and Obama, the Clintons, et cetera, et cetera?
No, what's she going to say that we don't know if based off the footage, like the 170-something cameras and like the tens of thousands of hours of footage, like what could she provide that doesn't provide yet? And I don't think that this is happening because she has stuff to offer. I think that she's the one who's dripping out this information that we've never seen before. Like, where's all this footage and these letters coming from that we haven't seen yet? Like, within the past 2 weeks, there's been like new angles of video footage, like from Trump's wedding, from different things with Epstein that we've never seen before, like the letter from Clinton, the letter from Trump. So I think that Maxwell has stuff that she's leaking out through somebody right now, and that like she's conveyed that to Trump and the Department of Justice somehow, and that's why this narrative is starting to approach.
It is interesting that all of a sudden Democrats have jumped on the release the Epstein files bandwagon now that there's implications that Trump may be in the files. But for the past 6 years, when the implications were people like Reid Hoffman, who Elon Musk said was in the files, people like Bill Clinton, who went on the Lolita jet, or what was it? The
Lolita Express. There is. First of all, it's a good point. I brought this up also. All of the jackass Democrats clamoring now that Trump's in the files, release the files, they're obstructing something. You literally go put their accounts and the word Epstein. They've tweeted about it exactly twice. 2019, when Alex Acosta had the scandal of his reveal, it being revealed that he was the guy behind the sweetheart deal. Silence for 5 years, and now they don't give a sweet bugger all. It's strictly only when they can use it against Trump. They were dead silent on this. When Trump came out and said that Clinton has been to the island.
We'll get to that, yeah.
I'll wait. But the bottom line, they're a bunch of scumbag hypocrites who don't care about anything except using this for political profit.
Yeah. Humberto, before I go to you, to Brandon's point into what you just touched on, so it's almost like a narrative like they switched the light switch on the narrative of let's go with Epstein. Everybody on social media, all the Democrats, but also what you said, the mainstream media. It's like all of a sudden everybody's like in lockstep, and this is now the narrative. And we've seen that happen before. We played the Sinclair broadcasting tape where they talk about the real threats to democracy being disinformation, and then you watch it juxtaposed against 17, 18, 19 other Sinclair-owned television stations where they're repeating the same script. So it's not just the mainstream media that's jumped on this narrative, it's social media as well.
And the politicians, because they know it's not going to get released. Like Dershowitz is clamoring for the thing to be released, but he knows he's on it. So I think he knows, and the Democrats know that Trump's not going to release it, so that's why they can confidently say, like, oh, release the files.
Humberto.
Okay, this is my take on it. And I'm purely doing game theory right here, right? What are the consequences of lying to a pedophile? 0 to none, all right? This is what I would do if I was the administration. I'd be like, oh, yes, Ghislaine, you're going to get your pardon. Just come here. It needs to be live, televised, so everyone gets to see it. And then I go like, oh, we're not even we're happy with it. We're going like, oh, we're not happy with what you said. You're not getting your pardon. Fuck you, rot in jail. So we get the best of. You think he's gonna get criticized for like going back on his
sign
word?
Something.
Huh?
They would have to have it signed though, like contingent upon what she says.
He can do whatever he wants.
No, you can't do that.
No,
even if it's a pedo, you can't go against the promise.
I've thought about doing the same thing with the self-deportations. You know how everybody was like, hey, if you self-deport, we'll give you $1,200. Well, what's stopping the Trump administration going, go ahead, self-deport, then once they're out of the country going, aha, fuckers, and not giving them the money? What are you going to do? You're going to try and sue us for breaking the law to get into the country and then not getting the payment that we said we'd give you upon your self-deportation?
The right in general, they always announce everything they're gonna do. They're like, oh, we're gonna make guns, accessible for everyone. Like the left, they're quiet. They say what people want to hear, and then they do the opposite. We're too honest sometimes, and it's to a detriment.
Fair enough. The one thing I was thinking about when you said, the media is talking about this in lockstep right now, and there have been some people who've been saying this was Trump's plan all along. It's 4D, 5D chess. Whether or not you agree with that, Trump has posted some things that he, even in the context of this, if it were the ultimate goal, he need not have posted and ought not have posted, as relates to, if you keep talking about this, you're no longer a Trump supporter, I don't want your support anymore. Stupid posts. But I do believe it was his goal to get the media talking about it and begging for the release, because I sincerely believe it. Everybody can call me stupid if you want. Trump's nowhere in it. There might be people within his orbit that might get embarrassed, and there might be people like Ludnick. Was it Ludnick? The guy standing behind him who, lo and behold, Epstein's neighbor, bought a property and, had some form of relationship with Epstein. Next door neighbor to the bad property. It might embarrass people there. But I do believe Trump was trying to get the media to talk about it. I don't think that excuses everything he did in terms of a couple of questionable truth posts. But yeah, media's clamming for it. It's going to come out. Like, the information is going to come out. And I think it's not going to show exactly what they want to show. We'll get to it with Bill Clinton.
Why is he acting so weird then? So uncomfortable.
I don't think he is. Let's play a few clips. This is Trump being asked, because I want to get to Trump mentioning Bill Clinton being on the Epstein island, because that's something that we've never heard before. We've heard that Clinton was on the jets. We've never heard a president or someone in a high level of authority or a position of power, come out and say that Clinton was on the island. Yeah, and he didn't say it once. What's that?
10 years ago he did.
Who said
Trump.
that? Trump.
I don't think he said he was on the island.
No, he said
on the Lolita.
On the jet is one thing.
No, when he was campaigning, he said, yeah, the substance come about that island and about Bill Clinton, he's in trouble.
Yeah, but okay.
Play this, play
let's
this.
skip this clip. This is the part, and real quick.
Pardon
Here's the
her.
clip of. There's multiple times, and this is what's interesting. Yeah, we'll start here, Connor. What's interesting about this? One of the things I went and I asked the internets. I asked, could Bill Clinton sue Donald Trump for defamation if what Donald Trump is claiming that Clinton went to Epstein's Island 28 different times? Would that be grounds for libel or slander? And I'll tell you what the internet's told me in just a second. But here's a quick montage of Donald Trump, our president, calling out former President Bill Clinton for going to Epstein's Little St. James Island 28 different times.
That was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
That's a weird term to use.
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
He's being sarcastic there.
In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Let's go to the next one, because this isn't the first time that he mentions this. Here's the president outside of the White House.
He's a great man who's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart.
This is the attorney.
But he's over there now. I
speaking
don't
with
know
Ghislaine.
exactly what's happening, but I certainly can't talk about pardons.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, you know, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before. But, you know, you should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys live with Jeffrey Epstein.
I thought there was no
I
list.
sure as hell didn't.
And let's go to the final clip, one more. Oh, there it is. This is the final one.
Look at this.
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard.
I hear.
And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
Is that the same?
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're good here.
In one
Can
of
you
my
appreciate?
very good.
I got to emphasize this. He told us to stop talking about Epstein 2 weeks ago. A number of his biggest followers on Twitter were browbeating people who continue. He's clearly still talking about it intentionally, deliberately, with a clear mission in mind. So he doesn't want people to stop talking about
New
it.
information too. He's never said that the reason that he stopped talking to Epstein was because he was poaching workers from him, but not because he was a pedophile.
Well, yes, and the reports were always that Trump had kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. These were the reports, not from Trump himself, but from within the Trump organization and the Trump administration. The reason that Trump had Epstein removed was because he was being inappropriate with females at the club. Yesterday on Air Force One, Trump was speaking with reporters on his way back from Scotland, where he stated that Virginia Giuffre was one of those women who was taken from Mar-a-Lago by Epstein and then employed.
At age 16.
What Trump was questioned on was the age of the women, and he confirmed that the women that Epstein took from Mar-a-Lago were young women who all worked in the spa, and then he confirmed, right there's the headline, Ghislaine, we don't have to play the audio. The audio is very bad, and it's hard to hear. They really got to do something about that. It's the most powerful man in the world. How do we, here in the content coffin that is the Unusual Suspect studio, have a better sound, have better sound technicians with Jake than the White House?
I thought it was actually an undercover recording and that he was sort of talking off the record based on that audio. But get back to the question there of what the internet told you. If the internet told you that he could be sued for defamation, that's the wrong answer. I say this as a Canadian attorney. A, he weighed his words, supposedly, I hear. B, whether you like it or not, it's not presidential immunity. It's just the immunity that Deborah Haaland got, Elizabeth Warren got when they defamed Nicholas Sandmann. AOC probably would get for calling him a rapist. You know, they're government officials giving speech that's relevant to policy, relevant to governing, and they would be granted the same immunity that's been granted to government officials for decades. I don't agree with it, but even in this case, supposedly I hear is qualifying a statement as my opinion.
The internet disagrees with you.
Internet's
the internet
wrong.
said, yes, Bill Clinton could sue Donald Trump for defamation if Trump falsely claimed that Clinton went to Epstein's island, but it could be very difficult to win for several reasons. One, Clinton's a public figure. Two, political speech is broadly protected. Three, truth is a defense. Trump can point to flight logs, visitor records, or other evidence that suggests Clinton went to the island. Doesn't necessarily mean that he did, but they say the reason why he won't is because of the legal risks and implications that would happen if Clinton were to sue Trump for making those statements, specifically discovery, which would open up Clinton's relationship to Epstein, and all of the documentation, all of the files, any tapes that they may have would become evidence in that trial.
So I'll do a pull of Trump. That answer is wrong. What it basically says is you could do it, you'd lose, and it wouldn't be strategically beneficial to do. But, the substantively true. All right, he never went to the island, but he flew on the Lolita Express to Africa for questionable reasons. He flew across the world on that plane, and Bongino talked about it on his show, which had apparently, I don't want to misremember this. Do you remember him talking about this? Like it had a bed in the back, and the sources that were telling Bongino this were saying people felt very uncomfortable for what was going on that plane. But no, the answer is wrong. I mean, he won't sue. He can't sue. The immunity alone would be a non-starter. But yeah, we get to know why he went on this plane with no Secret Service detail as a sitting president, which itself is sus.
And
as the
Kevin
kids say.
Spacey.
Well, and that was part of the Clinton Global Initiative trip that included Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, President Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell on that jet. Now, you could say, well, they were out there for humanitarian reasons, but do you know who helped form the Clinton Global Initiative? Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein was one of the leading people that helped convince the Clintons. That's why he continued to go to the White House in the 90s, because he was helping found the Clinton Global Initiative. So they're on a pedophile's jet, flying around with a pedophile. I'm not talking about Clinton in this case. I'm talking about Epstein. They're flying around on the pedophile's jet, doing work for the pedophile's global initiative that's named under the President of the United States, who has been implicated in having sex with many women outside of his marriage. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's a pedophile. And Kevin Spacey's gay, right? Allegedly.
Well, he said he was on those flights. He said
not gay on those flights.
Yeah, he said he was on those flights allegedly. I said old Piers Morgan would remember. He
yes,
sat
he
down
said that he
cried.
remembers young women being on the planes, but he doesn't remember anything scandalous happening.
And he said he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, but he didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was because he was invited by the Clintons. Something along those lines. I heard.
Again, see, this is why I'm for full. Let's disclose everybody that has ties to him, because guess what? Kevin Spacey can come out and explain his defense and go, look, I had no idea. Cool. Awesome. Let's move on. Let's go to Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz was sued by Virginia Giuffre and then ended up winning against Virginia Giuffre and had her retract her statement. But I want to know every single person that claims that Alan Dershowitz was on that island. I want to know every single person that claims that Clinton was on the island. Every single person that claims Reid Hoffman was on the island.
I want to know who's on the island. They have that log. They know who visited that island. I just want to know.
And I also want to know about, more importantly, okay, let's separate the two issues, and then we'll move on, because we got to talk about aliens, not from out of town in Cuba. We're talking about the ones from outer space. But I'm more interested in what happened at the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, where Jeffrey Epstein was bringing prolific scientists, including Stephen Hawking, to the ranch in New Mexico to advance AI and other
breeding.
Like they wanted to repopulate the population with little pervy Epsteins all over the world. So, I mean, there's so much that we still don't know about Epstein, yet we continue to cover it. I feel like we're slowly chipping away, and hopefully disclosure is somewhere close, but who knows? There's the ranch.
What is that symbol?
That could just be a helicopter landing pad. However, it does look very suspect, like some type of. I mean, look at Connor. Can you bring up the island and the temple?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is known for having.
Well, I know
weird,
what that is.
What?
Well, supposedly people are saying that like he was all about this like ancient practice of edging and like he would.
Edging as in masturbating to the point of ejaculating, but not.
No, stopping before that, and then he would go like about his business and make phone calls and stuff, and like do his business things, and like the temple is where he did that because it's like an ancient practice, and the temple is like the same temple that people used to use for those practices.
So he just whack off. He had a whack off.
Did
Yes,
everybody
exactly.
did everybody know the term edging before the song by Blink-182?
I didn't know that. And I'm a huge Blink-182 fan, but I never knew that song was about that.
Well, I didn't know what the song meant, and then someone's like, "You don't know what edging means?" Because this is when I went to the concert. At the end of the concert, they like blasted confetti, and it was penises and sperm.
Ew.
And I'm like, what the hell does? And then someone's like, you don't know
Yeah.
what edging means. Okay.
I took my son's first concert. I'm not proud of this. It was Blink 182, and we're holding him up, and there's a photo of him up on my shoulders, and he's 4 or 5, and we're giving thumbs up, and behind us is the word "fuck" in fire.
Apologize for nothing. I took my kid to that show twice now. It's a bet. I love Blink 182.
Me too.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
We're so old.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.